I don't know if this is a bold prediction or a hopeful one or what. I would just like to see AJ Lee back in WWE. I think it's been pretty cool how not only obviously with the Punker returning, but now with all of the various people that were inspired by her being wrestlers, that she would be able to come back in and get some of the flowers I think she was robbed of, partly because of who she married ultimately. The kind of her staying in WWE in 2015 was kind of made untenable by the fact that on the day she was getting married, they fired her husband-to-be, and then that was never really her fault. But then in the immediate aftermath of that, you started to see the sea change in women's wrestling because of NXT, and lots of people were credited with that, but AJ Lee wasn't really one of them. WWE is very good, even at its worst, at making the best of nostalgia and just telling the viewer that this person did this and this person was responsible for that. AJ Lee has missed out on nostalgia money, has missed out on all the various kickbacks that she probably should have got from trudging through the sludge of one of the worst periods for the Divas division, it was then called. Somebody that cared enough about that dumb butterfly belt to get the date she won it tattooed on her neck, and then was bullied for daring to just be enthusiastic about her work. If nothing else, it feels like the landscape is different enough for somebody like that to just be able to enjoy and take pride in what she did for a living. So for nothing if not the nice reasons, I think it would be really cool for AJ Lee to get that 2025 run.
Aww.
Adam Wilborn, what is your bold prediction for 2025?
Well, one of the first things to look forward to in 2025 is, of course, the Royal Rumble match. Loads of speculation as to who's going to win it. Could it be CM Punk? Could it be Roman Reigns? No, it is going to be this man, not you, right here. I'm talking about the greatest. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to return and win the Royal Rumble at number 30. Not because he's a very lucky guy to get that number. That is my theory as to what he handed Cody Rhodes on the Raw after WrestleMania. We don't know what it is yet. We may never know. They may just sort of give up on that, to be perfectly honest, and do something completely different. But my theory is that what he handed him was one of those old-fashioned Royal Rumble, ball things that used to have numbers in.
Oh.
That basically said, I'm part of this company. You kind of screwed me out of getting that WrestleMania match that I wanted last year. Well, this year, I'm making sure of it because I'm saying, look, I'm in charge, I'm on the board, and I'll be taking the number 30 slot in the Royal Rumble. Thank you very much. He's going to come in, he's going to chuck out all of your favourites, and my favourite is going to go on to dethrone Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
So I don't think a bold prediction for 2025 is to say that John Cena will win his 17th World Championship. In fact, I think that should happen. So maybe the boldness of my prediction comes in the fact that I think it should be in his last match. I think he should have a title opportunity within the first few months, maybe at WrestleMania. And then we get to December and we should even have a pay-per-view called John Cena's the Best, isn't he? Come kiss my face. And there, maybe he even vanquishes the person that beat him back whenever it was, and he becomes a 17-time world champion. Now I get it, the tradition is when you're going out, you go out on your back and you retire and you put somebody else over. But some people I just don't think fall into that rule. I mean, Sting did it in February 2024. I would have hated it if he had lost. Like, it would have killed me. Like, even if you had done, say, Sting versus Darby Allin, you told that story. Obviously, Darby Allin getting a massive victory over Sting would have helped him, but sometimes I don't care about that. Sometimes I care about having a nice moment and enjoying wrestling for what it is. And Sting going out on top with a tag team belt alongside his fake son was way better. And I think it's the same with John Cena. I don't think I want to see John Cena, after the 20 years of blood, sweat and tears and hustle, loyalty and respect, go out with, I don't know, random name. I'm going to say Austin Theory, but we've done that one. Bron Breakker beating him, and I love Bron Breakker. But the thing is, Bron Breakker's going to be a main eventer anyway. He doesn't need to beat John Cena. So I think that's what we should do. I think in December 2025, whatever his last match is going to be, John Cena becomes the record holder, 17th time WWE champion. I know, geeks out there, it's not the real number. I'm going with the kayfabe stuff. And I just think if anyone deserves it, which is a terrible term, but it's true, it's him. He does kind of signify what WWE is in the modern day. And he has given loads back, not just sort of on the screen, but behind the screen too. So that's kind of my bold prediction with a twist. But I think it would be a mistake not to do it. And also, when people look at the record books, I think you want a WWE guy through and through to have that record. You must give it to Mr. Cena.
This is bold in the sense that you might think, surely he can't go there, not there. But two things are happening concurrently. One, Tony Khan is getting increasingly defensive, paranoid and desperate and gotten to in the wake of all of these "we must save AEW, AEW is great" storylines, and we must fight for AEW, this wonderful cult. I mean, wrestling promotion that we have built for you, and you all live for this. Your whole life's for AEW. I don't remember marrying it. But that's one thing that's happening. At the same time, AEW is making every mistake that WWE made before it, WCW made before it, TNA made before it, in that it's just making every single mistake and becoming increasingly more like WWE, or WWE turning into parody. Too many titles, rubbish vehicular storylines and angles, wins and losses not mattering as much, just deep logic flaws. It's just almost unconsciously becoming a version of WWE. So remember, these two things happening at the same time are going to converge. I think Tony Khan is now at such a point where he's going to create his very own Stand Up for AEW campaign. He's so desperate to get people to love it, to love it, to love it, to love it, to love it. And he's like, this bad faith criticism has absolutely rocked his head. He needs to get over it. He needs to stop listening. But I think it's just going to reach this point. He won't call it Stand Up for AEW, but he might say something like, go on, write to your local paper, convince your friends to watch. I'm with AEW, that's what it's going to be called. They've already used that marketing before. I'm with AEW. Go on, write to your paper. Go on, wear the t-shirt for work. Why not? I think he's going to get even more desperate this year, and it's going to end in huge embarrassment for him.
Get on your feet for All Elite.
You got it! It's not about title wins, dream matches, debuts, or even necessarily returns per se. But my prediction for 2025 is that Demolition will finally be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, for those younger viewers out there who may not be too familiar with Demolition, they are a tag team that formed in the then World Wrestling Federation in 1987. Originally, it was Bill Eadie and Randy Colley, although Randy Colley was replaced by Barry Darsow after just a handful of matches. So with Eadie as Axe, Darsow as Smash, Demolition just went on a tear through the tag division, man. Cracking skulls, decked out in basically kind of bondage gear, complete with elaborate Kiss style makeup and a total banger of an entrance theme, a genuine all-timer of an entrance theme. It was during the period where the WWF tag team division was absolutely stacked, and Demolition ruled that roost for most of the time they were together, becoming 3-time tag team champions and also adding Crush to their ranks before they eventually all went their separate ways in 1991. Yes, Demolition as a team was designed to be WWF's answer to the Road Warriors, but it worked. It may have been a copy, but it worked extremely well. And Axe and Smash, they look like badasses. They carry themselves like badasses. They work like badasses, making for a great heel team and also for a great babyface team at times as well. So the question is, why isn't one of the greatest teams in WWE in the WWE Hall of Fame? Well, Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow were involved in the class action lawsuit brought against WWE in 2016, so that doesn't help, or hasn't helped so far. But WWE under Paul Levesque is obviously vastly different, all for the better, to WWE under Vince McMahon. And even before we took over from Vince, you got to think Triple H was the one who rebuilt bridges with the likes of Bruno Sammartino and Ultimate Warrior, getting those two in the Hall of Fame as well. Also, Demolition revealed that they were asked to attend WrestleMania 40 and the 2024 Hall of Fame as guests, not as inductees, but they had to turn down that offer due to having prior booking commitments. So I'm saying in 2025, Axe and Smash finally take their rightful, long overdue spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. Hey, as a massive Conan Crush guy when I was a kid, we're crushing there as well.
I'm a man of very particular wrestling tastes. I don't think that's much of a secret. Bit of a snob, bit of a, refined, narrow vision of what I like and what I don't like, and I can be quite dogmatic about the things I don't like in particular. So this year, it's been a little bit tough on old Andy H, I'm not going to lie. AEW has not always ticked the boxes. It did for me in 2021 and kind of before that as well, 2022 as well. And WWE, there's been some genuinely great stuff. Cody and Kevin Owens, loved that stuff. But throughout the year, the style of presentation, it's like Marvel movie wrestling, popcorn, big theater, all that stuff. It doesn't really sing to my heart. So it's been a bit of a hard year for me as a passionate wrestling fan. But a wise man once said, life is hard, be harder. And in 2025, Brody King is going to be a world champion, baby.
Yes!
That's what I'm going with. Look, it's often difficult to have faith in certain booking patterns in this day and age of all elite wrestling. But you know what? I sit here every single year and I tell you something that I want to happen and it never bloody does. So it's about time the universe said, hey, give this guy a break and make one of his favourites the world champion. I think he's undeniable. Like, me and Michael Sidgwick were talking about this in the office yesterday. Like, people were literally booing Ricochet when he went to beat this man on Dynamite the other week. And he's been over for years as well, is the thing. Like, everybody does the dog bark in the arena. Every single person. His aesthetic is tremendous. He's got a great look. He wears the jacket and the balaclava and all this stuff. He looks like a cool guy. He can talk when he needs to, but he doesn't always need to, because the moment he hits the ring and starts launching himself like a cannonball, you know exactly who he is and everything he's about. He's a great wrestler. He had Ricochet's best match in AEW to date. What is the problem? I think it's time to stop fanning around with company takeovers and guys playing piano in their back cave and devils and whatever the heck else. What other silly, fanny nonsense you want in your main event scene? Get rid of that and put it on a real one in 2025. Brody King.
You want a bold wrestling prediction for 2025? Well, I'm going to give it you, because I think Cody Rhodes is going to be a heel by WrestleMania 41. Yeah, said it. I told you it was going to be bold. Might be a stretch, but just hear me out. So, over the last couple of months, we've seen Mr. Rhodes just do things that were a little bit questionable, like teaming with people that have caused his friends a lot of pain and suffering, Roman Reigns, and yeah, not kind of doing what he thinks is right, but if you're on the outside looking in, may seem a little bit selfish, like he's not thinking about what his friends went through and how they might react. He's just doing what he thinks he should do and what could help not only like the roster, but himself, like taking down the bloodline, that kind of stuff. So that, I think, will, by the time he gets to WrestleMania, will have just flourished and grown into the point where Kevin Owens isn't the only person who's like called him out and said, you're selfish, you're this, you're there. And it would have got into his head and he would have gone, you know what? Yeah, fine, I am selfish. I want to keep hold of this belt. I'm sick of it. I will do whatever it takes to keep hold of this belt. It took me a long time to get it, to finish my story, and no one else is going to take my story away from me. And then he starts getting just really despicable and desperate and all that great stuff. And I think Cody, just in general, everyone said it, he does give off a little bit of heel energy with the suits and the big words and just the smug kind of cocky attitude. He's got that. He could do it. He could. Like, I feel like it'd be incredible to watch that happen in a WWE ring in this version of the character. I think, yeah, I'd be all up for that. And then that would lend itself to the very surreal situation where, as we get into the WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania, the final boss comes around. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he's back in for WrestleMania. But the final boss turns up and he's then welcomed as like a returning hero. The final boss will save us from the American nightmare we're living through and return the belt back to the people. I can't even keep a straight face in this. He'd return the belt to the people. He'd be the people's champion again, and then he'd literally return to the people because he'd win it off Cody at WrestleMania, the heel Cody, and then vacate it by like giving it to the people. I've not fully thought this through, okay? it's a bold prediction. I just want to cheer The Rock, okay? I just want to cheer him as like a hero and not this idiot who comes back in and doesn't really like understand what people want in the company and just does what he wants and has to adapt to it because it goes wrong. I don't want that anymore. I want him to be a hero, even if it is an anti-hero. I want a hero and I want him to whoop evil Cody's ass. Yeah, you heard it here first. Book it, Papa H.